Okay, you can factor anything using the quadratic formula, and here's where the quadratic formula comes from. It comes from if you take a quadratic equation in standard form and we complete the square. So let's complete the square without any numbers, okay? First, remember we have to move c over to the other side. So I'm going to subtract c from both sides, right? Now I'm left with ax squared plus bx equals the opposite of c. Well, my coefficient for my first term has to be 1. It's currently a. So how would I get rid of the a that's being multiplied? It's the opposite of multiplication. Division. So I'm going to divide by a. I have to divide each and every term by a. I don't like that marker. So we're going to divide each and every term by a so that it's nice and fair and equal. We don't throw off the balance of our equation. So then what we're left with is x squared plus b divided by a, x equals negative c over a. Okay, so now we have to take half of whatever b is, square it, and add it to both sides. So let's come off to the side and do that over here. So half of b times 1/2 quantity squared, that's going to be b times a, well, a times 2, which is 2a squared. All right, let's just write that here. So I've got plus b squared. I'm going to go ahead and square that. Are you with me? So 2a squared, that's 4a squared. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Okay, so I also have to add that to both sides. B squared times 4a squared. Okay, nice. Now we can factor this piece. Okay, it's a perfect square trinomial, so that becomes x plus, remember our little magic number here, that's b over 2a quantity squared equals. Okay, this is a little funny here. I can add these two together, but they don't have an LCD. My least common denominator. My least common denominator is 4a squared. So what's missing from here, is a 4 and an a. So I'm going to multiply top and bottom by 4a times 4a so that I can combine these. So then what I end up with is negative 4ac plus b squared all over, is that 4a squared? 4a squared. Nice. Okay? So do you remember what the next step of completing the square is? Once I get to this piece, and we didn't do this a whole lot in class, we kind of stopped here for the most part in the delta math. But if this squared is equal to this, do you remember your square root property? We're going to take the square root of this side. And if we take the square root of this side, we have to take the square root of this side, remembering that this can be plus or minus. Are you with me? Now when we take the square root of this side, this would just be x plus b over 2a. And then here we have plus or minus the square root of, are you guys comfortable with me saying this is b squared minus 4ac? I can change the order if I don't change the signs, right?
Yeah.
Are you with me?
Yeah.
What would the square root of 4a squared be? The square root of 4a squared.
Would it be 4a?
Wait, what's the square root of 4?
2.
2. What's the square root of a squared?
2a.
A. 2a. Yes. Sorry, did you say that? Ms. Rose, just seeing if you're paying attention.
I was.
Okay. So that would be 2a. So now all I've got to do to isolate x, to solve for x, is what? Subtract b over 2a. Are you with me?
Yeah.
So I'm going to subtract b over 2a from both sides of the equal sign that I left off. b over 2a. And then I'm going to move my answer up here because this is going to be your quadratic formula. Okay? X is going to be equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over, because I can combine these two since they have the same denominator, all over 2a. That is the quadratic formula, and that is where it comes from.
Oh, easy.
It is easy. It's much easier than factoring every single time. So there's your quadratic formula. Okay. Can we stop it, and can I do another?